Hi, this is Masadi from Olympian High School. We've been practicing taking notes on chapter 1 together for ancient world history. And I went ahead and went back to the vignette and added a few more things so that you guys can have an example when you're doing your notes at home of that section. But again, I don't want you to focus on that one, read it, but look at the notes that I take. Try to take fewer notes on the vignette and really focus on when you get to the big red headings, Roman numeral headings, and the blue subheadings. So now last thing I said was that humans were more intelligent than primates, and we're going to pick up with this first subheading A, which we've indented, means there's space on the left, because hominids are underneath the bigger idea of the evolution of Homo sapiens. They're an idea that has to do with this. It's related. Okay, and then what you'll see is when we get to the marginal notes on the side, that these will also be indented because Australopithecus is a type of hominid. Hominids relate to the evolution of Homo sapiens. So that's kind of why we do the outline. The more detailed information is to the right, and the bigger ideas are to the left, the main ideas. We'll put it that way. So let's read this together, the hominids. Remember, you're going to see me summarize the sentences after every sentence to check that I understand it. And if I had time, I would open up a dictionary.com and I would look through the definitions of a word I didn't know until I found them. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I give you an alternate definition for any words that I think you might stumble on. So let's look at this. The hominids. A series of spectacular discoveries in East Africa has thrown valuable light. This is just a fancy way, if English isn't your first language, of saying it's helped us to understand. When we put light on something, we see it more clearly, so it helps us understand it better, helps us see it more clearly. A series of spectacular discoveries in East Africa has thrown valuable light on the evolution of the human species. So I'm going to predict, because that's what a good reader does, that this paragraph is going to be more on the evolution of humans. In Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, these are all places in Africa, and other places, archaeologists have unearthed bones and tools of human ancestors going back about 5 million years. We read that in the introduction or the vignette we should have. So archaeologists are people that dig things up from the ground, look for remnants of things. And this is important in prehistory because there aren't any written documents. So we have to look at objects to try to guess what those ancestors of humans were like. So the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania and Hadar in Ethiopia, both in Africa, have yielded or given especially rich remains of individuals like the famous Lucy. Rich means a lot of in this case. So we have bones or skeletons, remains of creatures like Lucy. These individuals probably represented several different species belonging to the genus Australopithecus, the southern apes. This is a nickname for creatures that were like the ancestors of humans, called Australopithecus, which flourished or did really well in East Africa during the long period from about 4 million to 1 million years ago. So it looks like we're under this topic Australopithecus already. I want to take a quick note. So I'm going to take notes. For example, I'm going to put down the nickname, southern ape, because that's about Australopithecus. So that's why it's indented. We know that they were mostly in Africa. It mentioned that to us. So we want to write down where they were. And it tells you when, from 4 million to 1 million years ago. So I'm going to abbreviate that. I could make that a separate bullet, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it like that, to 1 million years ago. Let's keep reading. In spite of its name, Australopithecus was not an ape, but rather a hominid. Okay, so it's telling us even though its nickname is the southern ape, it's not an ape, so don't get confused here. So we know it's a hominid, but I don't need to write that down because it's already under the section hominid, so it's obvious. Okay, let's see. A creature belonging to the family Hominidae, which includes humans and human-like species. Evolutionary biologists, these are biologists that study our evolution, recognize Australopithecus as a genus standing alongside Homo, the genus in which biologists place modern human beings in the family of hominids. Compared to our species, so they're not our species, Homo sapiens lucy and other Australopithecines would seem short, hairy, and limited in intelligence. They stood weighing over 1 meter, 3 feet tall, weighed 25 to 55 kilograms, so about 55 to 121 pounds, and had a brain size of about 500 cubic centimeters. The brain size of modern humans averages about 1400 cc. Okay, so from here, I need to take some quick notes. Now, this is still about Australopithecus, so I want to make sure I put it underneath the Australopithecus section. So I might just say like 3 feet, about 120 pounds, and I might say their brain size because I want to make sure I know that it's smaller than humans. And then I get into the next section, and it looks like it's still about Australopithecus. I don't get into Homo erectus until this section here. So keep up these practices as you continue to outline chapter 1 on your own. I hope that was helpful.